this, I again like to bring our attention from the previous times where we were. So there was a conference in Kerala, event C meta-analysis, and which was put forth by researchers from the Kerala. So at that time, we had presented a paper wherein we try to impose about the nanoparticle perspectives in the animal medicines. Okay. So no one has done this particular experiment, and frankly speaking, at that time we were in a cloud nine that this is something new, and we had brought a lot of evidences about TM images and dark field and bright field images. We were trying to explain each and concepts, but when it is said that everything which you feel can't always be a right, you have to get testified by various others. Similarly, the panel members from the RIH, they scrutinized and they took the left and right from the presentations. They told me that your hypothesis is put forth in a very, in a rejected manner. And the experiment what you have done is not on a correct basis, because what you are trying to put forth can make a lot of hurdles for the ongoing researchers.
Yes, sir.
So then they told me that, Dr. Patil, you need to understand what exactly was your review of literature when you tried to put forth this medicine into the field. So to viewers, I would like to give you an attention point. This review of literature is an important process which you have to do before designing your hypothesis.
Okay, sir.
After gathering the information, during experiments, you have to again go with your literature. Finally, after your study is getting completed, again you have to go with your research and with your review of literature. So this process is before, during, and after the experiment. Why? The reason is, when you will see, for example, today if I want to do an experiment on, you can say, animals, okay. For example, I want to, let's start with arsenic. If I want to see immunomodulatory activity of arsenic in animal models, okay. So I need to understand first what all researchers from India and outside India and from various globe, what they have commented on this medicine. What were their particular findings? What have they brought up with their mindset? How did they came up with the funding agencies? What were their results and how they were replicated? How were the statistical tests significant with the methodologies? How was the write-up written in the format of research paper? So review of literature try to give a gist all about this, getting it. So if I want to do an animal model study on arsenic, I will go first, I will go with the database, I will try to search it out with searching engines, again with the same keywords. I will gather the information. Again, after gathering the information, what methods I want to use in my study, I need to verify from the previous study which has got published, getting it. So again, what I'm doing, I'm again trying to review all those literatures of animal studies wherein arsenic album was used. So what are the information I would be getting? I would be getting the company name from which arsenic album was used. I would be getting the dosage of arsenic album which was used. I would be getting the control used with the arsenic album to test. I would be getting the information about which animal species wherein arsenic album was used in testing. I would also be getting the information about for how long the experiment was conducted, for how long the arsenic album showed the effects in these animal experiments. Getting it? So these all information, you have to, dissect it in a step by step to build your research study with a more compact hypothesis. Getting it? You just can't do a hypothesis based on some of the other research papers and then try to extrapolate. Please understand, if any of the researchers priorly has done the studies, then you have to acknowledge those research papers. And definitely in upcoming times, you have to mention their credibility of their research by citing their references into your research papers and by understanding your particular model. Getting it?
Yes, sir.
People try to do, because the more you do the experiment again and again, the more rigorous the results get into it. And as rightly said, science is like you have to always experiment. You just can't believe anything on a hypothesis. Getting it? You have to always experiment. You have to always test your results. Always your inferences has to be, clarified and rectified with particular models.
Yes, sir.
So review of literature, if you try to ask me in a nutshell, it will always be with you until you have interest in that particular field of topic.
Yes, sir.
Getting it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, yes, in the last question from the audience only. So, sir, what are
Yeah.
the programs, what are the offers, yeah, what are the courses or schemes which are provided by this homeopathy board or the colleges or that government that they enroll and they get in this research field? So, any few word
Okay.
about it? Yes, sir.
So I think so. I think so. For this question, I would like to answer in the form of career orientation and in the
Yes, sir.
form of research. Getting it?
Sure.
So when the question comes up about grants or scholarship, so in our field we have CCRH, Central Council for Research in Homeopathy, which is under Ministry of AYUSH. So
Yes,
in
sir.
this particular, this council is an autonomous body, and they try to provide the schemes in the form of extramural research, in the form of intramural research, and in the form of STSH, students, you can say short-term scholarship program. Okay. So these are about the homeopathic field. Coming up from the other fields, we have DST, we have DBT, we have big G grants, we have big pharma grants. Then we have various other, you can say international organizations providing fundings.
Yes, sir.
Like we have National Institute of Integrative Medicine from Melbourne, from Australia. We have the Autumn Group. Then we have the HRI from the Europe. So these are all the major funding agencies. And to get the funds or the grants, you need to be qualified enough to answerable about their portfolios. So what the portfolio demand is, the portfolio demands more about your publications
Okay.
in that particular field. It demands more about your aptitude about the research, the aptitude about the biostatistics, and definitely it will demand about the testing the previous hypothesis about how have you concluded this up.
Yes, sir.
There are various posts, like there are GRF, Junior Research Fellow, then we have Senior Research Fellow,
Yes, sir.
we have Research Associate, we have Research Officers,
Yes, sir.
and then we have the particular dominating positions with the power exercise from the government. We have Assistant Directors and Director Generals.
Okay.
So this is in the field of CCRH. In other fields, definitely you have the JRF and SRF coming up, and again with the research analysis. There are various other, you can say, IT sector fields also, which try to provide the scope for the homeopathic doctors. Cognizant is one of the companies, because why I remember this, because one of my professors, Dr. Gosavi sir, he's currently been working as a lead researcher and is a medical lead writer in that particular field of Cognizant. And definitely means there are such of the other companies which are ready to recruit, provided you must have an experience, you must have particular qualifications and understanding about how this particular field has been getting rotated. There is one thing that in your education, you would be provided with the bachelor's degree. But when you're entering into the field of research, with only BHMS, you will be getting the post of JRF.
Okay.
Getting it? And over the time, if you will try to have a 3 or 4 year experience, they might promote you with the SRF.
Okay.
If you have completed with your MD, then you are directly eligible with the post of SRF, number one. With BHMS, you are eligible for UPSC exams.
Okay.
Getting it? As a medical officer, as an MO. Even today, if you will try to see all the particular advertisements, they mention only they required a postgraduate.
Yes,
But
sir.
if you try to understand, if you want to enter into the research field, they would require an MD degree,
Okay.
definitely.
Yes, sir.
And then you would be getting the post, you would be getting SRF. Then from SRF, you might be promoted with the RS. There and there are research officers. You have to give again the exams. Okay. Simultaneously in the field of IT sectors, you can even explore those fields by doing some of the other courses. Okay, even in modern, you can say MNCs companies or the hospitals, there are research posts which are given provided you have your qualification with post, you can say diploma or a post, you can say doc in clinical research. Getting it? So these courses are 1 year. They are provided by various institutes. You can just screen out as per your own domain of area, and then you can get all this data, and wherein you can explore with this particular field. Another thing is because it is you require always a novelty.
Yes, sir.
So the if you have a novelty in your project, then only you would be eligible enough to. Up is about you can say understanding your particular intention of getting those grants. Getting it means what for how long are you going to get it, and what exactly is your particular understanding, or what are you going to explore it. Similarly, there are various other grants which have been provided for the homeopathic field. So you can also review those grants, how they have been done, what all studies have been done. So how studies have been proceeded with the grants and how they have been got.
Okay, sir.
So if you understand, every research papers has a section in it about funding. Means research papers, when you try to read it, we have an abstract, we have an introduction, material and methods, results, discussion, conclusion, acknowledgements, funding, conflict of interest, and you can say references. So in the funding, it is mentioned the grant name, from which grant, who has provided, and everything. So I think so that also would be one of the important part to all of the particular audience or those who want to further extrapolate with these grants. And remember one thing: if you want to go for a grant, definitely you must have an aptitude of writing those particular proposals in a way the grant you might be getting it. It's not so easy. But it's not so difficult too.
Yes, sir. Exactly, sir. If it is there,
Yeah.
there is a way. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay. So yes, sir. Thank you so much
Yes.
for such huge information about the field of research and yes, the unhidden parts of the research. And sir, last not but the least, sir, you started that the THRS venture, which is working wonderfully in the
Yeah.
field of this field of research in homeopathy. So, a little about your venture, sir. What is it for? What are the services and what are the mottos, missions? A
Sure.
little about it. Yes, sir. So that audience
Okay.
will connect with you with your helps. Yes, sir.
Definitely. See, THRS resembles tech. T resembles for tech, that is technology. S
Yes, sir.
resembles for homeopathy, that is home. R resembles for research, and S resembles for solutions. So, why this particular venture came into my mindset, I would like to first give you a brief gist about this.
Yes, sir.
When
Yes,
I
sir.
was,
Sure.
when I was trying to get a lot of information about particular, you can say, guidance from various resource persons. I tried to understand that when I used to communicate with a lot of students, when I used to communicate with my colleagues, with my seniors, with my professors, and with various of the other researchers, I used to always get an obstacle that this information is not available in the market
Yes, sir.
free of cost. Okay, one thing.
Yes, sir.
And another thing, perspective of understanding those particular research programs or methods or the subjects, those were a bit of, you can say, difficult to understand for the end users. So we first tried to extrapolate this project in a pilot phase. We tried to first not going online. We made it offline first by not making so much of marketizing this particular this take home. We just tried to go on field. We visited a lot of colleges. We visited a lot of faculties. We tried to understand their particular domain of interest.
Okay.
Where are they getting the obstacles, and what was the major obstacle? So funding was not an obstacle. Getting information was an obstacle. But another thing is, not every information what you get is always authentic. And the information is what we provide from Tech Home. we try to give every references for every post. If you try to see our slides, we try to give every references. So tomorrow we just try to gist a particular thing. We try to put the content with a question, and then we try to make the review, followers or the audience to just go through that post and the article information. This is one of the part of education, about providing the education from Tech Home. Another part comes up with the services. So we provide a writing assistance for the research paper. Okay, so we have two sections for the peer-reviewed and non-reviewed journals. For the peer-reviewed journals, there are particular charges mentioned in those sections. So, for example, if a particular practitioner is having a good practice and a good results, but he's not able to put forth them into publication.
Yes, sir.
So definitely Tech Home will help those particular practitioners to help in writing assistance, and the whole credibility of their particular write-up and all would be provided for the customer or the end users who are going to take the services, provided Tech Home wouldn't be initiated with their names, and so are the charges. So this is one of the perspective for the practitioners, and one of the major opportunity also, because what I witnessed is when I came into my hometown, when I tried to understand, a lot of practitioners are having the results, but as said, those results should not be on a verbal basis. They should be on evidence and on a paper format.
Yes, sir.
So the more that will impact a lot. So there are case reports, there are meta-analysis, there are review papers, there are original research papers, they are related to editors. These are various sections, services we provide it, and we try to give them writing assistance. And I think so currently we are getting engaged with more than 2 or 3 particular short pilot studies with the services. We wanted to scale up this with the long term, looking up with a long vision ahead. But again, it depends on how the market goes up. So with the education, we are always there with the post coming up daily with the new, you can say, even today you can go. There are, I think so, more about 47 posts put forth.
Okay.
So for those who are doing MDs, for those who want to think like a research, for those who want to understand whether what exactly this field, I think so they can just go visit Tech Home Insta page. They can go and visit the post. They can understand this. And with the gist, I think so that will be a mnemonics. Like for example, we used to go in anatomy. The wrist bones, we used to understand with those mnemonic. Getting it? She looks too pretty, try to catch her. Getting it?
Yes, sir.
So similarly, it's a type of a mnemonic of the post. For example, if you want to, what are the particular protocols for writing the proposals? What are the reasons for getting rejected with the publication? There are a lot of content is going to come up in the upcoming times. And so I would request to everyone just to follow up this page and to provide your attention on this and to provide this mouth-to-mouth publicity with the followers getting subscribed with this. This is, first of all, is totally a self-funded Tech Home. And we further want to extrapolate with a lot of collaborations. So over the time, what we do, we are getting engaged with a lot of research peoples also, with the organizations also. We are trying to market those particular trials wherein they have got the ethical approvals and wherein they want to recruit it. So we want to make it totally an open platform for everyone. And so that each and every student who want to go into research, we want to provide them directly an easy platform for their betterment. So definitely it will require a lot of time, it will require a lot of experiment, it will require one-to-one sessions interactive coming up over the time. But this has to be defined with the market value also. So these are the minimal charges put forth it. And I would like to address the services by the reviewers or by the followers so that you will also be able to understand the authenticity of this particular Tech Home project.
Sure, yes. So
yeah,
yes, this is all about that this venture, and yes, I'm sure if anyone is interested in their papers and research and everything, so please just contact to sir. You will get benefited for sure, because I know her, sir. Because sir is only engaged with one of big our authorities like CCRH. He's only former senior fellow in CCRH and Rice Ministry. So yes, and thank you so much for
Yeah.
this session, sir.
I would, I would, I would, I would like to acknowledge some of the few peoples.
Yes, sir.
CCRH is really one of, you can say, a reputed research institute, and
Yes.
no one can challenge it,
Okay. Yes, sir.
because I've witnessed myself how the particular researches are done,
Yes, sir.
and
Because you
how
are
the
there for a
SRF.
long time, sir.
It is a lot of dedication requires. There is totally 24 hours watch on what are you doing and all, and I think so.
Okay.
It's one of the really of you can say wonderful thing wherein everyone can explore it. Getting into CCRH is really a tough call for everyone. It's
Yes,
a
sir.
dream come for
Exactly.
all the researchers.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Because
And even my experiences are not so much of what I am trying to put forth. There are various others, my seniors, which are more than 3 or 4 years experience.
okay.
But one thing I'm trying to assure it definitely is India is going to be a leading market in this homeopathy.
Yes, sir. Yes,
And
for
today the
sure.
world is looking towards India. Even with the current post of Ministry of AYUSH, even in the current post of the particular authorities, you will see we are the leading of these particular communities. So currently the time is about getting collaborated,
Yes, sir.
taking the risk, taking the right attitude, the right decision on the right time, extrapolating yourself, sacrificing a little bit of your schedule, and then definitely you'll be coming up with good number of publications and with good results.
Yes, sir.
It is not a one-day process. It
Yes, sir. Yes,
requires a
sir.
lot of dedication, perseverance, consistency, and definitely it requires patience also.
Yes, sir. That is all needed.
Uh,
yes, sir.
yeah, and I'm thankful for the faculty from the Bharati Vidyapit, from the principals and all the teaching faculties. I'm thankful for my all the colleagues, my batchmates. Even I am thankful for my juniors also. Actually, I don't say them juniors. I try to understand with the students' perspective, and from the seniors also, because everyone teaches me a lot. Getting it,
Yes, sir.
provided when you have an open mind, and when you are not prejudiced, I think so. You are always in a learning phase. So there is always a will if you have a open hearted, and when you are ready to accept the conclusions or the open statements. You can't be narrow minded in this field. You have to accept everything. People will criticize you in the moments. I have also criticized for some of the other times in the
Yes, sir.
publications. But remember one thing, criticisms are also accepted provided if they are on a right track and they are
Yes,
commented
sir.
on a right way.
Yes, sir.
You know, if they are not commented, then I think so that would be a next chaotic, or there will be next political statements coming up in the market.
Yes, sir.
So please follow all the researches. I would also request the audience to follow ResearchGate profiles, follow a lot about updates about CCRH websites, updates about DST and DBT websites if you want to enter into this field. And definitely over the time you will try to get an understanding of what is the current trend going into market. So currently in homeopathy, we have a standalone therapy, wherein the guidelines are coming up. We have an adjuvant therapy wherein homeopathy with allopathy or homeopathy with Ayurveda is getting tested in the clinical trials. We have the in vivo studies, animal studies. We have the agro-homeopathic field coming up. We have veterinary homeopathy. We have in vitro, that is cell models homeopathy. Then we have some of the docking studies going on for initial molecular traces, but it's a bit difficult in homeopathy to get into the picture. We even have stem cells coming up with the new ventures with this, deciphering this mechanism of action with the homeopathic medicines. We have pharmaceuticals, venture also, wherein various pharmaceuticals, they also provide the grants. So one of these pharmaceuticals I know is Wilmer Chaube.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Valavan sir is one of the scientific advisor of that particular pharmaceuticals, and frankly speaking, one of the genuine and one of the humblest person I've ever met, and
Okay.
he's really a keen researcher in the pharmaceuticals. I think so. You can witness with his presentations, with his publications,
Yes, sir. Sure.
and there are a lot of researchers. Even I have some of my batchmates too. Even some of the research scientists. I would like to quote with Dr. Ramesh Bonde sir. Then Dr. Zadu sir also. Then we have Dr. Bud Gujare sir. Dr. Khurana sir, Dr. Manchinda sir again is one of the pioneer, and we are following everyone. We are following all the ROs in this issue because the work they are doing, I think so it's hats off and it's toward the next level. And I think so the generation of us and the generation which are going to ahead, they must all be open-minded, and they should be all understand the process of this. This is not a one-day process. It requires a thorough
It takes time, sir.
dedication. Yeah, it takes time and it requires a thorough dedication.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So yes, sir. I think it's so much information here with THRS, and yes, the scope of empathy in research and everything, the schemes, the other things that sir have explained very well. So yes, sir. Again, once I would like to thank you, sir, so much for your valuable time, and sir, for sure we'll take a next session about some other topic, some good topic.
Definitely.
Yes,
I
sir.
would be keen enough to go with some of the specific topics because
Yes, sir.
there would be a lot of understanding coming up. Because that would be more interactive, and even I would like to have an interactive with the audience of one-to-one, so that it would be not a monotonous session. That would be various dialogues coming up with
Yes, sir.
various thought processes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So, okay, thank you, sir. So we'll end this session here, sir. And
Okay.
yes, sir.
Yeah, so thank you so much, Dr. Devi, and I would like to give a lot of congratulations and a lot of motivation for your process of this
Thank you so
Instagram
much.
session. This is one of the good initiative you are taking it up. I think so. This is the need of our, wherein the podcasts currently are going in the market,
Yes, sir.
and one-to-one sessions are required. Definitely, this will open up a lot of hurdles. People will get one-to-one understanding about what they are going with, and definitely they will be even able to understand how are they going to get connected over the time with the thought
Yes, sir.
process.
That is
So
important.
my sincere thanks and my sincere, you can say, blessings for this venture for yourself, because you're taking a lot of pain in this particular conducting these sessions. It's not so easy, acquiring the audience, acquiring the particular time, then getting the time from the speakers, maintaining your tonicity with the
Yes,
schedule.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
It's
sir.
really good, and I really wish you the best of luck, and may your venture raise a higher bar in this upcoming times.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for sir, your congratulations, sir. Thank you so much. And sir, yes, sir, we'll
Yep.
soon connect with some other topics, some other wonderful topic with you, sir. And yes, sir,
Sure,
we'll end
sure.
here our session.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much,
Thank you
sir.
so much for
Once
this.
again.
Yeah. Good. Yeah.